Well, so now let's get into finances. You know that we touched on that. We started to talk about the fact that the Ghanaian needs to move away from economic talks and government has to do this and all of that, and start to look within, try to have have a conversation with themselves as how to build their finances, if I'm getting that conversation right.
Right.
So today we should be focusing on the foundations. What are some of the things that we should be looking at on the road to becoming financially independent?
All right. Thank you so much. And once again, greetings to your audience.
Yeah.
And as you've rightly stated, we are looking at personal finance. And I keep saying that anytime you listen to morning discourses on TVs, on radios, the emphasis is all about what the government is doing. And my assignment for the next few years ahead of me is to change the narrative. And the whole idea is that whilst the government is mandated to handle the national finance or the national economy, you have the personal responsibility for your personal economic infrastructure. I normally put that way, that you need to build your personal economic infrastructure.
Okay.
If you are between the ages of 20 to 40, you need to make sure you lay a very good foundation for the future. And as I stated in the previous conversation, I keep on saying that no matter the quality of life that you desire, no matter the life that you want to build, you cannot ignore finances.
Yeah.
Just as at the national level, we cannot overlook finances. At the corporate level, we cannot overlook finances. At the personal level, we cannot also overlook finances. But like I said, when it comes to finances, you need to build what we call your personal infrastructure or personal financial infrastructure. And you cannot build by accident. You need to start with a foundation. And you are rightly, as you rightly note, that our foundation is weak. And as the Bible says that if the foundation is weak, what can the righteous do? It means that you can do the right thing, but if the foundation is weak, even that right thing will amount to nothing. Okay, so if you are between the ages of 20 and 40, how do you lay the foundation for your financial infrastructure? That's what we are looking at this morning. And in terms of foundation, I talk about three key things that are very important when it comes to building your personal finance. The first one is the intention and the reason. The second one, I talk about your financial philosophy. And the third one, I look at your financial blueprint. These things sounds, trivial, but if you pay attention to all those who have built, their wealth, you could see that they were very intentional. They had strong reasons backing their intention. They had strong financial philosophy, and they also had, a well-planned blueprint. So this morning we're looking at, these three and see how time will allow it. Yeah.
But if you said between the ages of 20 and 40,
Probably the ages of 20 and 40.
and 40, that's around the time where people are trying to find their feet,
Exactly.
trying to get a family. We hear the lifestyles of 40
Yeah.
and all of that. But this is for people who have sat down to think about the fact that I need to have a certain kind of future.
Sure.
I mean, that should also feed into the intention and the kind of life we want to
Right.
have. But before you get into that, parenting in certain economies have helped build financial foundation for children.
Right.
Some parents would invest from the time that the child is adored. They have an edu fund or something account that takes care of their education, travel, vacation, in that line. But here in Africa, it's seldom looked at.
Right.
So that by the time the child gets to 20, before they start to make certain financial decisions on
Right.
their own, they seem to have a certain baseline. When it comes to that, would you advise that? I would want you to use this opportunity to actually talk about the preparations that parents should be making for their children, even before we get into the foundations of financial freedom.
Well, parenting is very key when it comes to our personal development, because like I said, I think the first institution that you are exposed to when you arrive on this earth is the family, and your parents' philosophies, your parents' ideologies about finances, about life, will to some extent shape your thinking or shape your beliefs. And that is why I keep on saying that life is the only thing that you are building that you did not have control over your foundation. I mean, if I want to build a house now, I will decide on the foundation based on the type of house I want to build. So if I know I'm building a 5-story building, then I will know the kind of investment I have to make in the foundation. But unfortunately, when it comes to life, you started life on the level of ignorance. You didn't know what was happening around you. You just came into a family. You grew up. You became aware that this is your mother, this is your father, and whatever their philosophies, whatever their ideologies were, I mean, you imbibe them. And of course, the African family system is also challenged because the information that we have, of course, is kind of limited. Again, how many parents are even doing well? To talk of even thinking of how to lay good plans for their future and the future of their kids. And so it starts right from there. And normally, what I keep saying is that if you get to a point in time that at this age you get exposed to a certain information that we are sharing, you've got to really sit down and assess your life, because it's not about what your parents didn't do, whatever foundation that was not laid for you or whatever. It's about you getting to the point where you take your life into your own hands. If you had to go back, then the blaming games will go on. My parents didn't do that. Then we now bring our parents also into the picture, add it to the government narrative, add it to the system narrative, and that we will blame everything that is going on around us. So my position when it comes to this, that if you can hear some of us, or if you get exposed to any message and you get to the point where you're that, hey, this is where I want my life to be. Life is like a circle. Every point is a starting point, and every point is an ending point. So life really begins when you start to take charge of your decisions. It's not about what did not happen for you, what stage was not set for you, what platform were not laid for you. I mean, some of us talking about finances, we didn't come to meet, foundations set for us. But because we're exposed to certain information at a very tender age or very early ages of our lives, we got to know that, hey, we have to take personal responsibility. So like I keep saying, from my teen years, and I had access to certain information through reading, I realized that no, I cannot blame anybody. I cannot blame my parents. I cannot blame any system. It's about building my capacity to make the right decisions. So yes, I agree with you on the point that yes, I mean, people have laid even when they lay foundation for you and you are not financially intelligent. Of course, we've seen people who came to meet wealth and they have messed everything up. So it's not about the foundation that was laid for you, whether your parents built funds for you. There are people who are still struggling, irrespective of the foundation that was laid for them. So I feel that when it comes, the whole idea of personal development brings you into the picture where you want to own every aspect of your life. If your parents lay good foundation for you, of course you're going to build on it. It's going to still be your decision. But the challenges in our part of the world, it dovetails into every aspect of our life, family, education, whatever. So I agree with you on that point, but still we need to come to the point where we will take charge.
Okay, we're taking charge from now. So I like the fact that, I mean, if your parents could put foundation for you, that's okay. But some people came to it's called Antobam. They didn't come to
that's right
all the fun, but they're still making it.
Right.
So the idea, actually asked that question because I wanted us to debunk the idea of people have opportunities. So when you sit on TV and you're advising people, they're like, no, it's not. What you're saying is very strange to what I'm going through. You understand? That's why I started from the parenting side, so that people get to know that yes, parents can actually lay foundation for you, which is their responsibility. But if they don't get to do it based on certain circumstances that they cannot even explain to you as a child, then now you have the responsibility to actually do it for yourself.
That's right.
And for the next generation.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. Now let's get back into the foundation. You were talking about intent and reason. Can we start with that?
Sure. And so like you said, we are speaking to that young Ghanaian who has gotten to the point and he's able to look into the future that this is the kind of life I want to build. And like I said, everything starts with intent. It starts with an intention. because nobody builds by accident. And so, what I keep saying is that the reason why you've got to be intentional about your life is that there are going to be so many distractions. If there are no distractions, of course, there will not be any cause for intention. If you look at the word intention from the Latin root, it means to stretch. You see, the African is not able to, like I said, it will all come down into the issue of personal responsibility. Once you get to the point where you feel that, hey, I am in charge of my life, and then you want to be intentional about the things that you are looking for, then you are now going to stretch your imaginations from the present challenges to embrace what we call the future possibilities. The current situations that we are all facing in Ghana here presents us with challenges. But intention simply means that you need to stretch out into the future to see clearly what you want to achieve within the next 10, 15, 20 years. And you see, our grooming as Africans does not embrace that. We like firefighting. We want to deal with things today. That is why I keep saying that if you ask the average person that, can you paint a picture for the next 10 years of your life? Or can you tell me what your 70th year will be? The average Ghanaian would think that you are saying something mysterious. But he doesn't know that we have the capacity to decide on that kind of future that we are looking for. And that is what I say, being intentional. How can you be so intentional that at 70, you are very clear that even at the age of 20, you can see vividly what your 70th year look like? That is what we call intention. That means you are stretching from the 20 to 70 by having a clear picture of what your life has to be in the future. Once you are so intentional about that, that is where the conversation starts from. But if you bring 10 Ghanaian youths now, tell them and to find out whether they are intentional about their life, where they are going. I mean, why would I leave Kumasi 8 hours in, come and speak for 30 minutes, go back to Kumasi 8 hours, if I'm not intentional about what I'm building? Because I know that sitting here gives me the opportunity to touch somebody's life. So I'm intentional about what I'm building. And so if I come to speak for 1 minute, maybe there's somebody out there who would chance on the video and it will shape his thinking. And so regardless of the challenges that I had to go through to come to Accra, because of what I see in the future, it numbs me of the challenges. It's just like when you are so much consumed about the future, you are like somebody who is drunk. If you are drunk and you fall down, you don't even feel the pain. It's unless the drink goes off. So it's the same way when you are so much intoxicated about the future, then you become numb to the present challenges that you're able to navigate.
How do we get there where we are so focused on the future and not be, drifted by economic changes, government swaps, and all of that? How do we channel our minds to be so focused? I'm talking about a Ghanaian who has drafted her life in a book.
Right.
Put a pen and paper down. This is what I want. This is the kind of marriage
right.
I want to have. This is the kind of vacations I want to have. This is the kind of education I want to have. And maybe at this point, I want to read my master's here and do my PhD here so that I'll have this kind of company at this point. A plan.
That's right.
You can actually have a very beautiful plan
That's
on
right.
paper.
That's right.
But how do we channel our thoughts such that out of the paper we're able to have a substantive something to hold on? This is how much goals I've achieved. This is what objectives I want to crush. And this is how to go through it, irrespective of the economic situations. And even, most of the people want to jackpot now because they are like, the kind of dreams I have, I don't see it working here in Ghana. So how do we channel our thoughts to actually stay focused? How do we do that?
Great. As a personal development coach, I'll use my life as an example.
Okay.
23 years ago, when I came to have access to that information that I am supposed to be in charge of my life, I needed to pay attention to the life energy that is happening within me. You see, we have gotten to the stage where the distractions are too many.
Yeah.
We can easily be lost out there. Don't forget, there are over 7 billion people on this earth. And to find your place among the 7 billion, you really, really have to know yourself. You really have to be grounded with yourself. And I keep saying that If you really want to know something, the distribution of time to that thing determines how well you will know that thing. So when I finished senior high school and people were jumping to university, people were picking courses, I keep sharing this life experience that I had to resort to covents, places where I can have quietness to think and reflect about my life. So the first thing was that I am going to live what we call life. So what is my understanding about life? What is my understanding of this life energy that is flowing through me as Enoch? Because it is this life energy that is making me experience everything that I'm experiencing now. And I needed to spend time with it. So whilst people were jumping to school, I spent almost a year, because there are times I could go to the mountains and then just calm down, have that higher conversation. These things are thought. You need to have higher conversations with yourself. Understand that life is just going. You are not supposed to be caught up in whatever is going on around you. The moment you find your place, life will be ready for you. But because you feel that life is drifting apart, you always want to keep up. And so the ordinary Ghanaian now cannot pay attention to himself. He doesn't, because he wants to be on the go.
We don't even know
We
ourselves.
don't even know, because and we want to find our place. There is no way you find your place when you don't even know yourself. So like I said, I spent time to really understand what this life energy meant for me. And life has a way of responding to you when you ask questions on a deeper level, because life is not happening outside you. It's happening here. What you call life is not taking place outside you. It's taking place right here. And so how do you get in touch with this place? And that is where I say that there are processes of doing that. And one is to make sure you spend time with yourself. Ask deeper questions. If you're able to ask deeper questions, life has a way of giving you the answers. And so if you don't practice this, and we are always going to be on the go, I can tell you for a fact that what is coming, challenges that are coming we can build that dream. Am I there? No, I'm not there. But because I am intentional. Usually when I saw the speaker today, I said, I caught something. I said, no. So I had to present an idea to him that, could we do ABC? And he said, take my number, because I know where exactly I'm going. I see the future, that 20 years, that is very clear. And like, interestingly, when you talk about intention, it's not only about stretching into the future, but your stretching should be based on purpose. So it's about stretching. It's also being purposeful. So you got to stretch into the future to see what you want to do based on the purpose that you've defined for yourself, and you stay within that purpose. And that's how come, if anything doesn't fall within where I am going, you are not quick to accept it. And it also helps you to embrace the challenges, because I can tell you for a fact that it is not easy. Whatever I'm talking about, I go through them. So I have experienced the various dimensions of lack, the various dimensions of financial challenges that the ordinary Ghanaian will go through. And that is why we are so passionate to take them out, because poverty is very, very expensive. Poverty is expensive.
Very true.
And if you think poverty is expensive and you're going to get out of it for free, you are joking. Poverty is expensive. I don't think you're going to get out of it for free. It's going to cost you. And this is what this generation don't want to get to, because can you get somebody to sit down for an hour to listen, to pay attention? For example, we are in an attention-driven economy. So as people pay attention, listen to the word, pay attention. So that means attention is a currency. This generation is distracted. They can't pay attention to quality information that to inspire certain things at a higher level. They can't pay, because attention is a price. They are very distracted. So many distractions.
Pay attention to social media.
Frivolities, superficialities.
That's true.
And that is a psychological way of trying to numb themselves of the challenges. But these are short term stuff. Once you numb yourself, temporarily, the problem will still emerge. And if you don't take care, what you're going through in your 20s and 30s and 40s, it's going to escalate. So by the time you get to 60s, it has become compounded. And then that is where you see the opportunities that you had when you were young. It's very interesting. I keep telling people that when we were groping on this earth, we didn't see that the earth was round. It is only when we elevated, we were able to move from the earth to go to the space to see the actual nature. And that is why I keep saying that anytime you are in a situation, you have to elevate your consciousness beyond that situation. It is only then that you can see what you can do. So intention is very, very key. Tell everybody, or ask anybody who is making it, that person was intentional. It got to the point in time the person made a decision that this is what I want to do. regardless of what is happening. That is why we say stretch. You know, the present realities will be challenging, but once you are so much in tuned with your future possibilities, or what you want to see in the future, that is what will pull you through. And interestingly, every challenge will be a building block. 2024 has been one of the major challenges in my, in my business and in my career, because I'm talking about finances. Don't forget that whatever you talk about, the challenges relating to it will come. It will come, And I'm able to sit down, reflect on all of them, and everything that I go through now is becoming a book for me, because I'm reflecting on them, and because I'm a writer, I'm putting them down so that I can share with the generation. So it's very key. Intention is very key.
Amazing. I love this. I know that you are paying attention.
That's right.
Because whatever you're actually paying for is what you're getting.
Exactly.
Right? So how much quality is this for you, and how much are you paying for it? What are your goals? Where do you want to get to? Are you intentional about this? Have you spent time with yourself to know and told yourself that we're achieving this, we're doing this, we're going there? Well, even Paul says that I've learned to abase and abound. In other words, he's gone through that cycle. He knows what it means to not have, to be a not have, and then to also have, so then you can make decisions. I'm thinking that's another way that we can actually pull out our finances and say that because I'm going here, I'm not going to spend this on this.
Exactly.
Right? We're getting back into your future. We're talking about your finances. We started with intent, and Mr. Enoch is here digging out all our doubts and placing us on right feet, right footing. So we started with intent, the intention, the reason we want, and all of that.
Yeah.
So now, is that all of it? Should we move to the next, or?
Yeah, I normally talk about intention and reason.
And reason.
Okay.
There's two different things.
There's a slight difference between the two, because
tell me about it.
your intention is to build a house, but you need to find the reason for building a house. It's very key.
So that's
Great. And so again, if I want to build a house, my reason might be different from your reason.
but we both have the intention.
The intention to build a house. For example, your reason for building a house is, to get shelter, to have a family where probably you can spend time with the family. My intention for building a house might be for business purpose, to rent it out. My reason for doing that could be to rent it out as a real estate. And so we expect to have a vision, intention, but for your intention to be very strengthened, or to build an energy around your intention, you also need to look at the reason for that intention. If you want to ask people, there are a lot of people are looking for money, but they don't know the reason why they are looking for what they are looking for. There are so many people. If you ask them, okay, do you want this? Can you tell me the reason? And this is where I say that there are two reasons. There are reasons why you cannot achieve that intent. There will always be reasons, and that is what we always keep doing. Because if you ask the ordinary Ghanaian, sometimes I sit in the car and I ask questions. Why do you want to travel? And why? You system or not? You see, they start giving reasons that will disempower them. Reasons that will disempower them. And these reasons are very, very genuine. Like you said, I came from the environment, my parents did not do this, and of course we didn't have the foundation, our parents did not teach us this, so it's normal that we will have this lifestyle. These are all justifiable reasons. They are reasons that are very logic.
But they're not good reasons.
They disempower you, and that is the danger of searching. That's what we call them, excuses. And there's another one, you have a compelling reason. So even is either you go for a justifiable reason that will disempower you from achieving your intent, which is always available, or you go for a compelling reason that will push you through regardless of the challenges. These are two reasons that will determine whether your intent will come to pass or not.
How do we define these two? Pick a situation. I want to build a house.
That's right.
And the reason is because I mean, like I stated, I didn't want to be sleeping outside.
Right.
When there is rain or there's sunshine.
Great.
I always want something to get back to or somewhere to go back to. And that's my reason for having the house.
That's right.
And somebody would also ask, why don't you have the house now? And then I'll start to talk about the fact that, well, land is expensive around my area.
That's right.
And when you buy lands now, registering the land, you have to go to Lands Commission.
Your salary is not enough.
Your salary is not
I don't have enough job.
Exactly.
These are justifiable reasons.
Yeah, and when I go to buy a land, they could be like, probably they've sold that land to about 19 other people. So
that's right.
you are the 20th person coming to add to the court case.
That's right.
So I don't have enough time to do that. So the intention is in my mind.
That's right.
That I want to build a house.
That's right.
But I have all these reasons also in my mind that will prevent me from getting it. How then do I navigate through all these very genuine reasons to create for myself a compelling reason to get that job done?
And so, of course, then you don't need a house. You don't really want to build a house. Now, if I take my life as an example, I have only one intention in life, is to speak to somebody and the person becomes inspired. And of course, now you know that the next few years, the goal is to institutionalize personal development. That is my intent, to build an institution for personal development. That is my intention. There are so many reasons why I cannot do it in Ghana. From the sociocultural lifestyle of the people, from the current taste and preferences of the youth, everything points to the fact that, these people are looking for money, everybody wants to travel. Why do you think people will patronize Institute of Personal Development? Why? And of course, they are clear. When you speak on social media, you see how people respond, the feedback analysis. All these things do not look good now. But because the intention is compelling enough, that is what keeps us going every single day. I mean, like you said, why would you move all the way from another region to another region just come to talk? If you don't have a compelling reason, you will not do that. The stress that comes with it, the long hours of drive, the costs involved, the time factor, you're not getting anything, materially to show for, in the short term. But you know what? The intention, and I said the reason that is compelling enough is what is driving us through the process, because we know that someday it will still come. And so every single day you build your energy around what you want to see. So if you really want to build your energy around the reason why you want to build a house, if truly you are looking for the house to stay in, then that compelling reason will gradually take you above the challenge. Because if your reason is not compelling enough, of course the distractions will be justifiable enough to neutralize your reason. And so how do you build compelling reason? Spend time and keep on refining your thought. Why do I need this house? What is it going to do for me? Why do I need to do it? It has to be very clear. There are so many of us here, if you ask them, why do you want that dream? They are not honest with themselves. What they are looking for is not really grounded in them. You get what I'm trying to say? So for me, everything around me points to the fact that this is what I want. And so when I wake up in the morning, I am thinking of how I can influence minds, how I can shape minds, regardless of the personal challenges I go through. It is that reason, that compelling reason to change the Ghanaian mind. Because I know that the narration has been shifted to leaders alone. But I keep saying that there is a top-down approach to nation building and a bottom-up approach to nation building. What the politicians can do cannot be compared to what the citizens can do. But because all of us have willed that power to them, they can do little. This morning, nobody's going to make a decision for you. No MP is going to make a decision for you. Tomorrow, no MP is going to make a decision for you. Take the last 1 year. Tell me which decision about your life that an MP made for you. You have gotten to November by the decisions that you have taken, regardless of what is happening around. You have arrived in this November. That is what is going to happen in the next 20 years. Whether you like it or not, it's going to come. And so when you get there, you look back and now keep on faulting them. And so build your energies around what you want to see. And this has a psychological implication. It has, scientific backing that shows that people who are able to build strong reasons, compelling reasons around what they want to achieve, they are able to navigate through the storms. But if your reasons are weak, then the justifiable reasons that surface along the way will neutralize it, and you will never get there. As simple as it sounds, but it's very complicated. It works at the psychological level, it works at the spiritual level, and it works at the various levels of life. To spend time. So, for example, if I want to build, the Institute of Personal Development, I need to gather videos on institutions every single day. Keep on wiring my system, watching these videos to see how it's like, how faculties are arranged, how things are like, how the faculties will be arranged, the design pattern and everything. So, the moment I keep on feeding myself with it every single day, it has to be every single day. You don't do it one day and then you sit there. You don't, like he's talking about his studio. He has to show me images of studios on his phone every single day. You watch porn, you want to go and have sex. You watch studio, you don't want to go and build studio.
Okay.
What's the difference?
So what you feed yourself with is what you reproduce.
How come we are able to manifest negative thoughts than positive energies?
Because of what we see on social media.
You just watch porn, you feel like having sex. You watch house, you don't feel like building a house. I don't get it. And so you spend time building your dossier around what you want to achieve. And I can tell you for a fact that if you push so many people who keep talking, you realize that they don't have compelling reason for what they're looking for. Because if your reason is compelling enough, there is no way you allow all the facts around you. For example, you're looking for a job. Your intention is to get a job by 2020, 2015, 2025. And what shows that you really want to get a particular job? You are gathering information and everything around it. But if you sit there and allow the facts, the statistics that are being thrown at you from various, statistical agencies talking about the lack of unemployment in Ghana, all these things will neutralize you. And the fact is, 5 years will meet you, 10 years will meet you, 20 years will meet you. And you realize that you had the power to make the decisions at your personal level. Nobody had the power. Unfortunately, you will know the power you had when you were young. Only when you get old.
And you don't want to lose out on such privileges.
Yeah.
It's really sad. This is just the very first one.
That's right.
Intent and reason.
That's right.
And even that has dug deep into our minds, thinking, have we thought well enough? Have we structured our lives well enough? Because some people are modeling their lives after things they see on social media.
Sure.
I want to be a fashionista. I want to be... I think I play well with colors, so maybe I want to be a seamstress. But deep down, that's when we see people who grow up to a certain stage. I wanted to become a lawyer, but now it looks like I'm delving deep into something else.
Sure.
It's not like I was really interested, but that's just what it is. Parents also haven't really helped, like they make you want to learn nursing because after that there's going to be a job. When in fact you wanted to be an architect, they wanted to go through the system and be able to build things. So I think I really love this. But like I always say, we never really would get to the end of it, shall we?
Yeah.
Well, let me take your last thoughts on this very first one. Then it means that I've officially scheduled you for another session. So this is just for intent.
That's right.
And reasoning. That's deep. Well, let me take your last thoughts on it.
Well, thank you so much. And like I said in the beginning, whether you like it or not, we are building. And that's why people keep saying that I'm building my life. I'm building my future. I'm building my dream. So if some way, somehow, we are all consciously programmed to know that we are building, then you should know that we need to check the foundation. So whatever you are building, check the foundation. Because if the foundation is weak, then it doesn't matter what you do right. It will still come back at you. And I've stated that it is only your life that you did not lay the foundation. Somebody laid a foundation for you. A system laid a foundation for you. Until you go back to assess the kind of foundation that was laid, deprogram yourself from the foundation that was laid, and then become intentional about the future. And build compelling reasons around what you intend to achieve. 10 years will meet you. 20 years will meet you. And you still keep blaming. But the interesting thing is that when you keep blaming, you will not send it to anybody's house. You stay in your house with your blames. and it's not going to change anything about your
Anything
life.
about you.
You will feel the pain. You will feel the hurt. It's not going to be transferred to anybody because life is happening within you. It's not happening outside. You're going to feel it. So the earlier you start getting access to some of this information, the better.
Okay. Now, do you know that Mr. Enoch has all of these, thoughts and all these great insight put in books? Well, you can also get some of his books. He's actually launching his book. It's about personal financing. So you should get that and read about it. 30th November, we're going to be looking at a book launch for you.
Yeah, in Kumasi.
Yeah, that's a Saturday. It's in Kumasi.
Right.
Oh, but we can also
We'll do the Accra version
we'll
afterwards.
do that.
Accra version
Great. That would be
next
nice.
year. Yeah.
So, if you're in Kumasi, the village Adum opposite the Edum.
Yeah.
Well, we draw the curtains for today. You should definitely get to check out the Personal Development Institute on all social media handles. That's where Mr. Enoch's prowess really felt. So you should touch on that and then learn a thing or two, because your life matters, your future even matters more. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Breakfast Live Show, serving you good news and all kinds of news, hot and spicy. My name is Precious Biafra. See you tomorrow.